Hello, my name's Chris. I'm an artist. I'm working at Primary in Nottingham, and today I'm going to explore two things with you. One is wax resist, and the other is frottage. Wax resist using frottage. Now that sounds as though it might be a bit complicated, but it isn't. It's easy and it's cheap. These are the things with which we're going to make our wax resist frottage. First of all, the wax can be anything that's oily or waxy. So here's a wax egg. They're quite cheap. Usually get them online, sometimes from an art shop. Here's a candle, very, very cheap. You might have one of those at home. Wax crayons, you're bound to have a few of those. This is a special kind of wax crayon. This is a brass rubbing crayon. They're usually metallic. And there's a good quality one. This is an oil pastel, very good. So we do our frottage with those, and then we paint over them with water-based paint like this. This is watercolor. This is India ink. You could use fountain pen ink. Very cheap ready mix paint, that will also do. Also cheap gouache. You can get them from lots of corner shops and supermarkets. Very good. So first of all, what is frottage? Well, frottage is French for rubbing. We're going to start with frottage, and then we're going to do some wax resist. But very quickly to remind us, if you can rub it, you can frot it. This is a placemat. This is a stick of graphite. Graphite is the stuff that you get on the inside of a pencil, but this is much thicker. So you hold the paper down with one hand, and you rub with the other. And the harder you rub, the darker your frottage. So there we are. There is a frottage of a placemat executed with graphite. Very quick. However, we could use something that is oily or waxy, like this. This is an oil pastel. I just get rid of some of the paper to make it a bit easier. I'm going to do the same thing as I did with the graphite. Now you may not be able to see this because it's white on white. And I don't know about you, but I like all of my strokes to be in the same direction. Some people like curly whirly strokes. Some people like cross hatching. I tend to like mine to go in diagonals. So the surface of that paper is now covered with wax. That means when I put water-based paint on here, it will break up and the wax will show through. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So here's a big brush. Any old brush will do. A decorating brush, a shaving brush. This is a synthetic watercolor brush. So I just moisten the whole surface of the paper. And then I add my paint. I'm using a little drop of Payne's Grey and a little drop of black. Payne's Grey is my favourite colour. It's grey on its way to blue. So I just drag the brush over the surface of this moist paper, and as you can see, it breaks up over the areas that are covered with wax. And that's all there is to it. That is wax resist. And I could put another colour on if I wanted to, but at the moment we're keeping it to black and white. There we are, wax resist. Quite attractive, strong sense of pattern. Now we're going to do the same thing, but using a bit of colour this time. So I'll start with white. Not so much white this time. And then perhaps some pink. And a little bit of blue. Blue wax crayon. A little bit because less is more. If you put lots of colours onto a frottage, it doesn't look as effective as just one or two colours. So there we are, same again. I moisten the sheet of paper with this big brush. Then I add my colour. Some more Payne's Grey. Lovely. And there we go. So you can see the blue and the pink showing through. And because the whole of the surface of the sheet is moist, the paint travels over that surface in ways that can't be predicted, which I rather like. I'm making it just a little bit purple at the bottom, just to see what that does. There we are. And I think you'll agree that that is rather a nice composition. So that's Wax Resist using coloured crayons to make the initial frottage marks. I could add some ink to that. Now if you're adding ink, you need your brush to be dry, and you just dip the brush into the ink. And because we don't want to dirty the ink, once we've brought the brush out, we don't want to put it back into the ink before cleaning it. So I'm just doing a very, very quick scribble. There we go, that will do. And then that ink will begin to wander around the surface of the paper, and it'll be fun to come back in an hour or two and see what that's like. Another thing you can do is tip salt onto the surface of the paper, and that breaks up the pigment nicely. So there we are. Another thing you can do, instead of using an object like this that already exists, you could make your own frottage shapes. So I've made this sort of collage here that's got a lollipop X and some string and a paper doily and a piece of corrugated cardboard. So I'm going to frottage this now, see what this looks like. So this is quite a different approach. It gives you a lot more freedom. I'm going to start with the cross, and because I like the cross, I'm going to do that several times. That's going to be my main feature, I think, is the cross. Or is it an X? I don't know. It's a cross or an X. There we go. One cross. Two crosses. I can do as many crosses as I like. So I'm composing here as I go along, and you can too. You can move it. If you like something, why not do it several times instead of just once? There we go, there's another cross. I'll have one up here. And now we'll have a little bit of this corrugated cardboard. That's nice, isn't it? And now I'm going to do the lace, but I'm going to change colour. So I've got this silver crayon for the lace. And I like doing lace because I live in Nottingham. And Nottingham, I don't know if you know, is famous for its lace. There's a bit of string there. So just enjoy playing with these textures. Oops. Some more of the cardboard. Oh, the cardboards are beginning to look like grass. I like that. So now, there's a lot of wax on this surface, so I'm going to put some colour on it. You can see it breaking up over the wax. I think I might have a bit of blue at the top. Dig out some blue paint. There we are, some blue. And I might have some green at the bottom. Sap green, phthalo blue. You see the way that's breaking up over the crosses? And here comes the green. Oh, that's rather nice. I think I might put some ink with this. So here comes the ink. I'm not sure how that ink is going to bleed, but I'm going to enjoy it. You can see it's very, very flexible. You can be quite stiff, like this. You can loosen it up like this, or you can be really, really loose, like this. So there we are. That's a very brief introduction to wax resist and using frottage with wax resist. It's easy, it's cheap, it's fun. So I hope you have fun. Thank you.